presented by Soundlibra.com. Explore more titles via the link in the description or at Soundlibra.com. Welcome to Communication for Couples. Talk better, love deeper. This series is about building stronger relationships.
In this first episode, we're laying the groundwork for a strong connection. Just a quick heads up before we get started. While we're diving into relationship dynamics, this content is for educational purposes and isn't a substitute for professional mental health advice or therapy.
That's an important note. What truly makes a relationship thrive? It's about a deep, resonant connection that allows both partners to feel understood, valued, and loved. That connection is built through our communication.
So, it's more than just exchanging daily information. It's about the quality of our interactions, the unspoken understanding, and navigating even difficult moments with grace.
Exactly. This series is about developing habits that foster genuine intimacy. We're starting with the why. Why is communication the bedrock of a lasting, loving relationship?
So, Alex, when you talk about this foundation of connection, what are its key elements?
The first and most crucial element is shared vision and goals. When partners understand and work towards common aspirations, it creates an incredible sense of unity. It's like being on the same team, working towards the same championship.
So, when you say shared vision, does that mean having identical dreams?
Not necessarily identical, but certainly aligned. It's about respecting each other's individual dreams while ensuring they don't pull you in opposite directions. It's about finding common ground and making compromises that feel fair and loving.
That makes sense. It's about prioritizing the partnership. What else forms this foundation?
Another vital component is mutual respect and admiration. This goes beyond simply liking your partner. It's about genuinely valuing their thoughts, their efforts, and who they are. When you respect and admire your partner, you naturally communicate with kindness and consideration. You wouldn't want to hurt someone you deeply admire.
When you have that deep-seated respect, even a difficult conversation feels different. You approach it from a place of wanting to understand, not win an argument.
Precisely. And this respect is often demonstrated through positive regard. It's about consciously looking for and acknowledging the good in your partner. Continuing to nurture that perspective, even after years together, is crucial. It's knowing how to see the best in them, even when they're not at their best.
So, it's an active choice to focus on the positive qualities. That sounds challenging but incredibly rewarding.
It is, but the rewards are immense. When you consistently show positive regard, you create a safe space for vulnerability. And that brings us to the third pillar, emotional safety and trust. This means knowing that you can be your authentic self with your partner, without fear of judgment or dismissal. It's the feeling that your partner has your back and will respond with empathy and support.
Emotional safety feels so fundamental. If you don't feel safe to express your true feelings, how can you ever expect to build a deep connection? It's like trying to build a house on shifting sand.
That's a perfect way to put it. And trust is the glue that holds that emotional safety in place. Trust is built over time through consistent actions, reliability, and open, honest communication. It's knowing that your partner will keep their promises and act in your best interests. When trust is eroded, so too is the foundation of connection.
So, to recap, Alex, a strong foundation of connection is built on shared vision and goals, mutual respect and admiration, and emotional safety and trust. These are the cornerstones.
Absolutely, Lisa. And this episode is just the beginning. We're setting the stage for the tools and techniques we'll explore in future episodes. We'll be diving deep into active listening, speaking your truth with empathy, and navigating conflict. All of it aimed at helping you talk better and love deeper.
It's exciting to think about the journey ahead. For anyone listening, I hope this introduction has sparked an understanding of why effective communication is an absolute necessity for a relationship's survival and flourishing.
Remember, The goal is not to eliminate disagreements, but to learn how to navigate them constructively. It's about building a communication style that strengthens your bond. This series is your guide to achieving that. We're building a bridge to deeper understanding and more profound love.
So, to summarize the core idea of this episode, the foundation of any strong, lasting romantic connection is built on three key pillars: shared vision and goals, where you're both heading in the same direction, mutual respect and admiration, where you genuinely value and appreciate each other, and emotional safety and trust, creating a secure space for vulnerability and authenticity. These elements, nurtured through consistent, intentional communication, are what allow love to truly flourish.
This is what Talk Better, Love Deeper is all about. We're equipping you with the knowledge and the mindset to foster these essential qualities in your own relationship. Thanks for listening.
Happy learning!
Welcome back. Last time we covered the foundation of connection. Now let's tackle the art of active listening.
Active listening is so much more than just hearing words. It's about intentionally engaging with your partner's feelings and underlying messages. It's about truly hearing them.
At its core, active listening means giving your complete attention. Put away distractions, phone, TV, and turn your full attention, mentally and physically, to your partner. Signal that they are your priority.
Those nonverbal cues are crucial. Making eye contact, nodding, and facing your partner communicate, "I'm here, I'm listening, and you have my undivided attention."
Beyond the physical, active listening means trying to understand your partner's perspective. Listen to grasp their feelings and intentions, not just the facts. Step into their shoes.
To help this understanding, a powerful technique is paraphrasing. Rephrase what your partner said in your own words to confirm your understanding. For example, "So, if I'm understanding correctly, you're feeling frustrated because..."
Paraphrasing ensures you're on the same page and shows your partner you care enough to get it right. It validates their experience.
And it gives them a chance to clarify if you haven't quite understood, preventing misunderstandings from growing.
Exactly. Another key technique is asking clarifying questions when something is unclear. Ask things like, "Can you tell me more about what you mean by that?" Or, "How did that make you feel?"
These questions show genuine interest and help you move beyond the surface to understand the emotions and needs driving their words. It's about curiosity, not suspicion.
Curiosity opens us up to learning and connecting. Active listening requires suspending judgment and being open to what your partner shares.
So, to recap the core skills, give your full attention, use paraphrasing to confirm understanding, and ask clarifying questions to deepen comprehension. The goal is to make your partner feel heard and valued.
Feeling heard means feeling seen and understood. This can significantly reduce conflict, as many arguments arise from a feeling of not being understood.
It's true. Imagine explaining something and your partner just doesn't seem to get it or dismisses it. Active listening is the solution to that. It's the bridge connecting your inner world to your partner's awareness.
Active listening also fosters intimacy. Learning more about your partner's hopes, fears, and struggles creates a stronger bond and a rich tapestry of shared understanding.
It builds trust. When your partner knows you'll listen without immediate solutions or criticism, they are more likely to open up. They learn they can be vulnerable with you.
Let's imagine a scenario. Your partner had a rough day and talks about a challenging interaction. Instead of offering advice, you actively listen. You maintain eye contact and say, "It sounds like that situation was really unfair and upsetting for you." Your partner might then say, "Yes. And what really bothered me was that they completely disregarded my input." You might respond, "So it wasn't just the outcome, but the feeling of being dismissed that was so difficult to experience."
In that exchange, your partner feels deeply understood. They're not looking for a problem to be solved. They're looking for connection and validation. Active listening provides that.
It's a beautiful dance of communication, and it's a skill that improves with practice. Be patient with yourself and your partner. Acknowledge slip-ups and recommit to practicing active listening.
So, remember these takeaways for active listening. Give your full attention, use paraphrasing to confirm understanding, and ask clarifying questions to deepen it. The ultimate goal is to make your partner feel truly heard, seen, and valued. Mastering this art prevents misunderstandings and builds a stronger, more intimate, and trusting connection.
And that feeling of being heard is incredibly powerful. It's the bedrock for deeper conversations and stronger relationships. Next episode, we're exploring how to speak your truth with empathy, diving into nonviolent dialogue.
Looking forward to it.
Thanks for listening. Welcome back. Last time, we dove deep into active listening. Now, let's speak your truth with empathy.
That's right, Alex. Active listening is crucial, but what do we do when we need to share our own thoughts, feelings, and needs? It's easy to fall into patterns of blame or criticism, especially when we're feeling frustrated. This episode is going to give us a powerful framework to avoid that and connect more deeply with our partners.
Exactly. The core of what we'll be discussing today comes from a communication model developed by Marshall Rosenberg, often called nonviolent communication, or NVC. At its heart, NVC, and by extension nonviolent dialogue, is a way of communicating that honors both our own needs and the needs of the other person. It's about fostering understanding and connection, even in difficult moments. Ready to dive into the first component?
Absolutely. Let's get started.
Great. When we want to express ourselves using this approach, we focus on four key components. The first is observation. This means stating what we actually see or hear without any evaluation or judgment attached. Think of it as being a neutral reporter.
A neutral reporter. I like that. So, instead of saying, "You never help around the house," it would be more like, "I noticed the dishes are still in the sink from this morning."
Precisely. You've made a clear distinction. You never help around the house includes a judgment. The word never is an exaggeration, and the implication is that your partner is not helping, which is an interpretation. The observation, "I noticed the dishes are still in the sink from this morning," is purely factual. It states what you observed, without assigning blame or making a sweeping generalization.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about sticking to the facts. I can see how easily I might slip into making judgments.
It's a common habit. We often mix our observations with our interpretations or judgments. NVC encourages us to separate these. So, remember that first building block, observation. What did you see or hear factually?
Observation. Got it. So, once we've made a clear observation, what's next in this nonviolent dialogue?
The second component is feelings. This is where we express our emotional state in response to the observation. And here, it's important to distinguish between genuine feelings and thoughts that sound like feelings, but are really disguised judgments.
This sounds like it could be a bit tricky. What's the difference between a real feeling and one of those disguised judgments?
That's a fantastic question, and it's key to this process. Genuine feelings are words that describe our emotional state. Think of words like happy, sad, frustrated, anxious, joyful, curious, or content. Thoughts that sound like feelings, on the other hand, often imply that someone else is responsible for our emotions, or they express a judgment about a situation.
Can you give an example?
Certainly, if you say, "I feel that you don't care about my needs," the word that signals a thought, and the core of the statement is about what you believe your partner is doing or not doing, but judging their level of care. A genuine feeling will be more like, "I feel hurt," or I feel concerned.
So, I feel hurt describes my internal emotional experience, while I feel that you don't care is more about my interpretation of your actions and what I think it means about you.
Exactly. You've got it. We're aiming to express our own internal state. Another example, I feel abandoned is a feeling, but I feel like you're ignoring me is a thought that suggests the other person is intentionally choosing to ignore you, which is an interpretation, not just a feeling. So, after observation, we identify and express our honest feelings. This helps our partner understand the impact of a situation on us.
Observation, then feelings. So, we've seen what happened and we've shared how we feel about it. What's the third piece of the puzzle?
The third component is needs. This is really the heart of NVC. Every feeling we experience is connected to a universal human need that is either being met or not being met. When our needs are met, we tend to feel pleasant emotions. When they are unmet, we experience unpleasant emotions.
So, the feeling isn't just random, it's a signal that a deeper need is at play. That's a powerful way to look at it.
It truly is. Because so often, when we express ourselves, we focus on what the other person did wrong. But NVC shifts the focus to our own internal experience and the universal needs we all share. For example, if your partner is late for a dinner you prepared, you might feel frustrated. The observation could be, you arrived at 7:30 for our 7 o'clock dinner. The feeling is, I feel frustrated. Now, what need might be unmet, leading to that frustration?
Hmm. Maybe the need for respect? Or appreciation for the effort put into the dinner? Or perhaps the need for connection?
All excellent possibilities. You could be seeking respect for your time, appreciation for your efforts, or the need for shared connection. Identifying this underlying need is crucial. It's not about blaming the other person for not meeting your need. It's about recognizing your own need and understanding that it's a fundamental human experience. We all need dignity, support, understanding, rest, safety, connection, autonomy. The list is vast and universal.
This is really starting to click. So, we've observed, we've stated our feelings, and we've identified the unmet need that's connected to that feeling. What's the final step in this process?
The fourth and final component is the request. This is where we clearly state what we would like our partner or ourselves to do to help meet our need. And importantly, a request in NVC is not a demand. It's a genuine ask, and the other person has the freedom to say no.
A request, not a demand. I can see how that difference is vital for maintaining empathy and not creating resistance.
Absolutely. A demand implies punishment or guilt if it's not met. A request, on the other hand, is an invitation. It's an open-ended question about what actions could help meet the need. So, going back to our dinner example, we have the observation, the feeling, and the identified need. The request might be, would you be willing to let me know ahead of time if you expect to be more than 15 minutes late for our planned meals in the future?
That sounds so much more collaborative than you really need to start showing up on time.
It makes all the difference. It opens the door for dialogue and problem solving, rather than shutting it down with conflict. So, to recap the four components of nonviolent dialogue, especially from the speaker's perspective. First, we make an observation, stating facts without judgment. Second, we express our feelings, our genuine emotional state. Third, we identify our underlying needs that are connected to those feelings. And fourth, we make a clear, actionable request.
Observation, feelings, needs, request. Or OFNR for short. It's a simple acronym to remember the sequence. And the goal is to move away from blame and toward understanding and connection.
That's a great way to summarize it, Lisa. Today, we've laid the groundwork for speaking your truth with empathy, the four components of nonviolent dialogue. We learned to differentiate between judgments and honest observations, and between moods and genuine feelings. We also saw how our feelings are signals of underlying, universal needs, and how to make requests that foster connection rather than demand compliance.
This feels like such a practical and transformative approach. It's not just about what we say, but how we say it and the intention behind our words. It's about communicating in a way that honors both ourselves and our partner.
Exactly. Mastering this takes practice, but the rewards, deeper understanding, stronger connection, and more peaceful interactions are immense. We've only touched the surface today, but this framework gives us a powerful tool.
So, remember those four key elements: observation, feelings, needs, and requests. Practice them this week in smaller, lower stakes situations if you can, and really notice the difference it makes.
Absolutely. Next time, we'll continue our journey into nonviolent dialogue by exploring how to respond with compassion. Next episode, Responding with Compassion, Nonviolent Dialogue Part 2. Welcome back. Last time, we began our deep dive into nonviolent dialogue, focusing on how to express our own needs and feelings. Today, we're turning the spotlight onto the other person. We're exploring empathetic listening, building on active listening.
That's right. It's about truly trying to understand our partner's world, even when that world feels very different from our own. This episode is all about empathetic listening and how it can transform conflict into connection.
Absolutely. Remember in episode 3, the 4 components of nonviolent dialogue: observations, feelings, needs, and requests. When our partner expresses themselves using this framework, our first instinct might be to jump in with our own thoughts or solutions. But empathetic listening asks us to pause.
And instead of formulating our response, we try to tune into what the other person is experiencing. It's like putting on their glasses for a moment, trying to see the situation from their perspective. This doesn't mean we have to agree with them. It simply means we're making an effort to understand their internal reality.
Exactly. So how do we do that? One of the most powerful tools is validation. Validation isn't about agreeing. It's about acknowledging the other person's feelings and needs as real and understandable given their perspective. You might say things like, "It sounds like you felt really hurt when that happened." Or, "I can hear how frustrated you are because you need to feel heard."
That phrasing is so important. Notice how it's not. You shouldn't feel hurt. It's acknowledging, it sounds like you felt hurt. It's creating a space for their experience without judgment. And the because you need part connects it back to the core of NVC, identifying the underlying need that's driving the feeling.
Precisely. When our partner is telling us something, especially something difficult, they're often expressing unmet needs. Perhaps they need to feel respected or secure or understood. By reflecting back what we think their feelings and needs are, we're showing them that we're truly listening and trying to connect with them on a deeper level. This act of reflection can be incredibly powerful in de-escalating tension.
It's like a mirror. You're holding up a mirror to their experience and saying, "Is this what's going on for you?" This gives them the opportunity to clarify, to feel even more heard, or to correct you if you've misunderstood. And that correction itself is a gift, helping you get closer to understanding.
Right? So, the process often looks like this. Our partner shares something. We pause. We try to identify what feelings they might be experiencing and what needs might be unmet. Then, we offer a reflection. For example, if your partner says, "I can't believe you forgot our anniversary dinner. I spent all week planning it."
Our initial reaction might be to defend ourselves. "I was so busy at work. You know how it's been." But with empathetic listening, we'd pause. We'd try to hear past the anger. We might reflect back. "It sounds like you felt incredibly disappointed and maybe even unappreciated when I forgot our anniversary dinner because you had put so much effort into planning it and needed to feel that your efforts were seen and valued."
That's a great example, Lisa. And notice how that reflection is much more likely to open the door for your partner to express their pain further or to then hear your own situation, rather than slamming it shut with defensiveness. When someone feels truly understood, their defense is often naturally lower. They feel safe enough to be vulnerable.
And that safety is the foundation for genuine connection. What happens if we don't get it quite right? What if our reflection isn't exactly what our partner was feeling or needing?
That's a common experience, and it's okay. The key is to remain open and curious. If you reflect back, it sounds like you're feeling angry because you need more cooperation, and your partner says, "No, I'm not angry, I'm just really tired, and I need some help around the house." You haven't failed. You just learned something new.
So, the next step would be to acknowledge that correction and try again, perhaps saying, "Oh, I hear that. You're feeling tired and you need help." And that makes a lot of sense given everything going on. It's a dance, isn't it? A back and forth of understanding.
A beautiful dance. And this skill of empathetic listening, of trying to hear and reflect feelings and needs, directly builds on the active listening we talked about in episode 2. Active listening involves paying attention, showing you're listening, and providing feedback. Empathetic listening takes that a step further by focusing specifically on understanding the emotional and motivational landscape of the speaker.
So, to recap what we've discussed about responding with compassion, first, when your partner speaks, pause and resist the urge to immediately defend or problem solve. Your goal is to understand. Second, try to identify their feelings and the unmet needs driving those feelings. Third, offer a reflection of what you believe they're experiencing. Something like, "It sounds like you feel feeling because you need."
And fourth, be prepared to listen to their response, which may include clarification or correction. Treat any correction not as a failure, but as an opportunity to deepen your understanding. This process creates a safe space for vulnerability and fosters a profound sense of connection. It's about making your partner feel seen, heard, and understood.
This is such a powerful skill. It shifts the dynamic from being adversaries to being allies, navigating life's challenges together. It's about creating a sanctuary of understanding in our relationships. Instead of just hearing words, we're hearing hearts.
Exactly. And by practicing this, we move beyond surface level conversations and build a bedrock of trust and intimacy. When our partner knows they can come to us with their true feelings and needs and be met with compassion rather than criticism, it changes everything.
It truly is. We've covered a lot today about the practice of empathetic listening within the framework of nonviolent dialogue. We've learned how to reflect feelings and needs, and how important it is to create a safe space for our partners to express themselves. This is the heart of compassionate responding.
It really is. Next episode, we'll move beyond understanding and into the realm of navigating disagreements. We'll tackle episode 5, navigating conflict without the contempt.
Looking forward to it.
Welcome back to Communication for Couples. Last time, we explored nonviolent dialogue. Now, let's tackle conflict without contempt.
Conflict is a normal part of any relationship, but contempt? That's a real relationship killer.
You're absolutely right, Lisa. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship researcher, identified 4 predictors of relationship failure. He calls them the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse for relationships: criticism, contempt, defensiveness, and stonewalling. Today, our focus is squarely on contempt.
Contempt. It sounds so strong. What does it actually look like in practice?
Think of it as expressing superiority, disgust, and disrespect toward your partner. It's when you communicate that you consider them inferior. This can manifest through sarcasm, eye-rolling, sneering, name-calling, or mocking their habits or opinions. At its core, it's saying, "I look down on you."
So, it's not just about disagreeing, it's about a fundamental lack of respect for the other person.
Precisely. Gottman's research has shown that contempt is the single greatest predictor of divorce. When contempt is present, it systematically erodes the trust and goodwill in a relationship, making a partner feel fundamentally unworthy and unlovable.
That paints a very bleak picture. It sounds like a deeply unsafe emotional environment for both people.
It absolutely is. And the insidious thing about contempt is that it can become a deeply ingrained habit. It might start small, almost unnoticeably, but it has a way of escalating over time, causing significant damage.
If it's so destructive, how do we even begin to dismantle it or, better yet, prevent it from taking root in the first place?
The most powerful antidote to contempt is respect. This means actively cultivating a sense of admiration and genuine appreciation for your partner. It's about seeing them as an equal, someone whose thoughts, feelings, and needs are just as valid as your own. Lista, that makes sense conceptually, Alex, but how do we actually do that, especially when we're feeling angry or frustrated during a disagreement? It starts with self-awareness. First, you need to be able to recognize the signs of contempt in your own behavior. That's the eye rolling, the sarcastic tone, the dismissive comments. Once you catch yourself exhibiting these behaviors, the crucial next step is to take a pause.
So, the instinct might be to fire back with more negativity, but instead, we need to consciously stop and take a breath?
Exactly. This pause is essential. It's your opportunity to self-soothe, to calm your nervous system down. It allows you to shift from an immediate, reactive emotional state to a more considered, calmer approach. Think of it as a mental reset button.
Okay, so that's recognize the contemptuous behavior, then take a pause. What comes after the pause? How do we pivot towards that respect you mentioned?
This is where practicing empathy becomes key. You need to make a genuine effort to understand your partner's perspective, their feelings, and their underlying needs. This is very similar to the soft startup we discussed earlier in nonviolent dialogue.
Right. So, instead of saying, "You're always late, you never think about me," it would be more like, "I'm feeling anxious when you're late because it makes me feel unimportant, and I need us to be on time for our plans."
You've got it. And alongside empathy, it's vital to actively recall your partner's positive qualities. Make a conscious effort to focus on their strengths and the things you admire about them, rather than fixating on their perceived flaws during a conflict. Intentionally bringing those positive thoughts to the forefront can shift your entire mindset.
It sounds like the core idea is to shift from seeing your partner as an adversary to seeing them as a teammate. It's about winning together, not winning against each other.
Absolutely. You are a team facing a problem, not two opponents. Frame the situation and your communication around it as, how can we solve this? Rather than, why are you doing this wrong? This subtle shift in framing can make a world of difference.
Attacking the problem, not the person. That's a powerful distinction.
It truly is. And this requires a fundamental shift in perception and a consistent effort. Plus, don't underestimate the power of regularly expressing appreciation. Those small, consistent gestures of goodwill build up a significant buffer against the corrosive effects of contempt.
It's like building a reservoir of positive connection that you can draw upon when disagreements arise.
Precisely. And remember, change is absolutely possible with conscious effort and a commitment to this more respectful way of interacting. A relationship that's free from contempt offers a foundation of safety, value, and a much deeper, more fulfilling connection.
So, to quickly recap, contempt is a major poison to relationships, identified by Dr. Gottman as the most damaging of his four horsemen. It shows up as disrespect, disgust, and dismissiveness.
And the antidote, as we've discussed, is respect. We can cultivate this by recognizing our contemptuous behaviors, intentionally pausing before reacting, practicing empathy to understand our partner's viewpoint, and actively focusing on their positive qualities.
We also talked about the critical shift from a me versus you mentality to a we versus the problem approach, and the importance of consistently expressing appreciation to build that reservoir of goodwill.
Choosing respect over contempt doesn't just prevent damage. It actively transforms conflicts into opportunities for growth and even deeper connection. It's about building a communication legacy of understanding and care.
The foundation of respect truly is paramount for a thriving partnership.
Indeed. Next episode, we'll be exploring understanding your appreciation languages. Welcome back. Last time we covered navigating conflict and responding with compassion. Now, let's explore understanding your appreciation languages.
That's right, Alex. This episode is all about understanding the core ways we feel loved and appreciated in a relationship. It's inspired by Dr. Gary Chapman's concept of the 5 love languages. Have you ever felt like you were giving a lot to your partner, but it wasn't quite landing, or vice versa? Sometimes it's not about the effort, but about expressing that love in their language.
Exactly, Lisa. Think of it like this. You might be fluent in English, but if your partner's native tongue is Spanish, trying to communicate complex feelings in English might lead to misunderstandings. It's the same in relationships. If we're not speaking our partner's primary appreciation language, our expressions of love can get lost in translation.
So, Alex, let's break down these 5 languages. What's the first one you want to explore?
We'll start with words of affirmation. For people whose primary appreciation language is words of affirmation, hearing compliments, appreciative words, and verbal encouragement means the world to them. It's about using words to build your partner up.
So, this isn't just about saying, I love you, although that's important too. It's more about specific, genuine praise. Things like, wow, you handled that difficult meeting so professionally. Or, I really appreciate you taking care of dinner tonight. You're such a great cook. Or even, you look amazing in that outfit.
Precisely. And it's also about expressing concern and empathy through words. Saying things like, I can see you're stressed about this project. How can I support you? Or, I'm so proud of how you've been tackling your fitness goals. These verbal affirmations act as direct deposits into their emotional bank account, making them feel seen, valued, and loved.
That makes so much sense. So, for listeners who think this might be their language, what are some practical ways to practice this?
Beyond spontaneous compliments, consider leaving little notes. A text message during the day saying, thinking of you and how much I appreciate your patience can go a long way. Or when you sit down together, make a point to share something specific you admire about them. It's about being intentional with your words.
Okay, that's a fantastic starting point. What's the second appreciation language?
The second is acts of service. For these individuals, actions speak louder than words. They feel loved and appreciated when their partner does things for them, things that ease their burden or lighten their load.
Ah, so this is about helpfulness. It's not about grand gestures, but about the everyday tasks that show care and consideration. Doing the dishes, taking out the trash without being asked, picking up groceries, doing a chore your partner usually handles, or even getting their car serviced.
Exactly. It communicates. I'm here to help you. I'm on your team. Imagine your partner has had a long, exhausting day. If they come home to find a meal prepared, the house tidy, or their favorite task already taken care of, that's a powerful expression of love. It says, I value your time and energy, and I want to make your life easier.
So, it's about anticipating needs and stepping up. It's demonstrating love through practical support. What if someone's primary language is acts of service, but their partner's is, say, words of affirmation?
That's where the understanding comes in. The person with acts of service needs to recognize that their partner might not be as moved by a perfectly clean house as they are by hearing genuine praise. And the person with words of affirmation needs to understand that their partner might feel more loved by a helpfully done chore than by a list of compliments. It's about bridging that gap.
Got it. So, the third language?
Receiving gifts. Now, this is often misunderstood. It's not about materialism. For someone whose primary language is receiving gifts, a gift is a tangible symbol of love and affection. It conveys that you were thinking of them, that you remembered them, and that you wanted to bring them joy.
So, it's the thought behind the gift that matters most. A small, thoughtful item picked up on the way home, a souvenir from a trip, or even something handmade can be incredibly meaningful. It's the visible symbol of, you were on my mind.
Precisely. And the size or cost of the gift is often secondary. It's the fact that you remembered them, that you saw something and thought, this would make my partner happy. That truly resonates. For example, a partner who loves to read might receive a book their partner spotted and thought they'd enjoy. That's a powerful expression of love for them.
It's like a physical reminder of love. So, even if it's not their birthday or an anniversary, a surprise gift can be a significant way to show appreciation for this language. What about the fourth?
Quality time. This language is all about giving your partner your undivided attention. It's not just being physically present, but being mentally and emotionally present. It means putting away distractions, listening actively, and engaging in meaningful conversation or shared activities.
So, this means putting down the phone when you're talking to your partner, making eye contact, and actively participating. It's about focused interaction. This could be a date night, a long walk together, or even just dedicated time to talk about your day without the TV on in the background.
Exactly. It's the intentional carving out of time where your partner feels like they are your sole focus. It's saying, you are important to me, and I want to spend this time connecting with you. When you're on a date, for instance, the goal isn't just to be physically near each other, but to create a shared experience, to actively listen and engage.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about creating shared moments and experiences that strengthen the bond. And finally, the fifth language?
Physical touch. For individuals whose primary language is physical touch, embraces, holding hands, and other forms of physical affection are vital for feeling loved and connected. This isn't necessarily about sex, although that could be a part of it, but about the comforting and connecting power of touch.
So, this could be a gentle hand on the arm as you walk by, a hug when you greet them, holding hands while watching a movie, or a comforting pat on the back. These gestures communicate warmth, support, and affection.
Yes, it's the nonverbal communication of love. A partner who needs physical touch might feel a void if these gestures are missing, even if all other forms of affection are present. It's like a thermostat for their emotional well-being. Touch helps regulate their feelings of love and security.
So, we have words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. Now that we've introduced all five, Alex, what's the next step for our listeners?
The crucial next step is to identify your own primary appreciation language and, more importantly, to discover your partner's. You can do this through self-reflection. Think about what truly makes you feel loved. What actions or words from your partner uplift you the most? What do you often request or complain about lacking in the relationship?
And for your partner, you can observe them. What do they request most often? What do they complain about most frequently? When do they seem most happy and loved? Sometimes they might even tell you directly, or you can ask them. You can even find quizzes online inspired by Dr. Chapman's work that can help you both identify your languages.
Once you've identified your primary language, the real work begins. It's about making a conscious effort to speak your partner's language, even if it doesn't come naturally to you. If your language is words of affirmation and your partner's is acts of service, you need to actively look for opportunities to help them out, even if you'd rather offer a compliment.
And conversely, if your language is acts of service, you need to push yourself to verbalize your appreciation and love, even if you feel like your actions already speak volumes. It's about making that emotional connection by speaking the language your partner understands best.
This effort can significantly deepen your connection. When you consistently speak your partner's primary appreciation language, they feel truly seen, understood, and deeply loved. It's one of the most powerful tools you have for nurturing a lasting, fulfilling relationship. Remember, understanding these languages allows you to intentionally fill your partner's emotional tank, leading to greater intimacy and a stronger bond.
So, to recap, we've covered the 5 appreciation languages: words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. We've urged you to identify your own and your partner's primary language and then to intentionally speak that language. This focused, intentional effort is key to making your partner feel profoundly loved and to strengthening the foundation of your relationship.
Next episode, recognizing and responding to emotional bids. Welcome back. Today, we're recognizing and responding to emotional bids.
Emotional bids. Can you explain what an emotional bid is?
Think of an emotional bid as a small gesture, a word, a look, or a touch, where one person reaches out to their partner for connection or attention. It's like a subtle invitation asking, "Are you there for me? Do you see me? Are we still connected?" These bids can be incredibly small. For instance, a partner might sigh and say, "I'm so tired." That's an emotional bid. They're not just stating a fact. They might be hoping for a response like, "Oh, you've had a long day, haven't you? How can I help?"
I see. So, it's not just about the words, but the underlying need for acknowledgement or support. It's like a tiny tap on the shoulder in the world of relationships. What are some other examples of these bids?
Great question. They can be varied. Someone might point out a bird outside the window, saying, "Look, a robin." The bid isn't just about the bird. It's an invitation to share a moment, to connect over something small and observable. Another bid could be a shared glance during a movie or a touch on the arm as you walk past each other. Even a question like, "What are you thinking about?" when you seem distant is a bid. The core of it is an utterance or action that expresses a need for connection, comfort, validation, or shared experience.
That makes so much sense. And I'm guessing, just like in episode 1 where we talked about the foundation of connection, how we respond to these bids is crucial, right?
Exactly, Lisa. You've hit on the absolute key point. The power of emotional bids lies not just in issuing them, but in how our partners respond. Dr. John Gottman, a renowned relationship researcher, calls this turning towards the bid. When a partner turns towards the bid, they acknowledge it, show interest, and respond positively to the invitation for connection. This builds trust, security, and what he calls emotional capital in a relationship.
Emotional capital. I like that. It sounds like a savings account for your relationship's well-being. So, what does turning towards look like in practice? We've had the Robin example and the tired partner. How do you turn towards those?
For the tired partner, turning towards might be saying, "I see you're exhausted. Is there anything I can do to make your evening easier? Maybe I can start dinner." Or simply, "That sounds rough. I'm here for you." For the Robin bid, instead of ignoring it or just muttering, you turn toward by saying, "Oh, you're right, a Robin. They're always so cheerful this time of year, aren't they?" You're acknowledging their observation and engaging with them.
So, it's about genuine engagement and reflecting that you heard them and value their reach for connection. What happens if someone consistently ignores these bids, or worse, turns away from them?
That's where the emotional capital starts to deplete, and sadly, this is a major predictor of relationship distress. When bids are ignored or turned away from, the person making the bid learns that their partner isn't available or doesn't care. Imagine repeatedly reaching out for a hand and it's never taken. Eventually, you stop reaching. This leads to feelings of loneliness, resentment, and emotional distance. The bids become less frequent and the connection erodes.
That's a really powerful image, Alex. It's like a constant drip, drip, drip of disconnection. So, for listeners who might be realizing they do this, either as the bid maker or the bid receiver, what's the first step?
The first step is awareness. Start by simply noticing these small moments. Try to become more mindful of when your partner reaches out and how you are responding. Are you present? Are you responsive? Are you genuinely curious about what they're sharing? Even if it's something small, it's about shifting your internal focus from whatever is occupying your mind to your partner and their attempt at connection.
So, being present and conscious of these micro interactions. And if you're the one making the bid and it's not being met, what then? Is it okay to be more direct?
It absolutely is. While many bids are subtle, if you're consistently not getting the response you need, it's healthy to communicate that directly. You could say something like, "Hey, I'd love it if we could share those little moments, like pointing out the robin. It makes me feel connected to you." Or when I'm tired and say I've had a long day, I'm really hoping for a bit of understanding or support. It helps me feel seen. It's about expressing your needs clearly and kindly, rather than letting resentment build.
That's such valuable advice. It's about building a bridge of understanding rather than building walls of unmet needs. It really does tie back to that foundational connection we discussed early on. These small moments, these bids, they are the building blocks of that strong foundation.
Precisely. Think of it this way. A relationship isn't built on grand gestures alone, but on thousands of tiny, positive interactions. Every time you turn towards a bid, you're investing in your shared future. You're reinforcing the message, "I see you, I value you, and our connection matters." This consistent positive regard creates a deep sense of safety and intimacy.
So, to recap, emotional bids are those small attempts to connect, and turning towards them means responding with interest and acknowledgement. Consistently turning towards builds trust and emotional capital, while ignoring or turning away erodes it. The key is awareness, presence, and clear communication about what we need.
You've summarized it perfectly, Lisa. It's about making a conscious effort to notice and honor these moments. They might seem insignificant, but their cumulative effect is profound. They are the heartbeat of a healthy, connected relationship.
It's encouraging to know that strengthening our relationships isn't always about big, overwhelming actions, but about mastering these small, everyday moments of connection.
Indeed. And next time, we'll be building on this by exploring the power of repair conversations. Those moments when we need to mend any hurt that might have occurred, even despite our best efforts. It's a crucial skill for navigating the inevitable bumps in the road. Next episode, the power of repair conversations. Welcome back to Communication for Couples. Last time, we explored recognizing and responding to emotional bids. Now, we're delving into the power of repair conversations.
Repair conversations. Those are the moments after a disagreement when you actively work to mend the bond. It's about fixing things when they go wrong, right, Alex?
Exactly. Think about it. In any close relationship, conflict is inevitable. You'll misunderstand each other, say the wrong thing, or cause hurt.
So, no relationship exists in a vacuum of perfect harmony. We're human. We make mistakes.
Precisely. And the key isn't to avoid conflict, but in our ability to repair. To effectively say, "I'm sorry," and rebuild that bridge of connection.
So, it's not just about apologizing. It's about doing the work to fix what was broken.
That's a great way to put it. A repair conversation is a deliberate process focused on acknowledging hurt, taking responsibility, and reaffirming your commitment. It's about moving from disconnection back to understanding and closeness.
And you mentioned this builds on episode 5 about navigating conflict. How so?
In episode 5, we talked about managing conflict in the moment. Repair conversations are what happen after the conflict. It's a follow through, the emotional cleanup, and rebuilding. Successful repairs can actually make a relationship stronger.
That sounds almost counterintuitive. How can a fight make a relationship stronger?
because successfully navigating a difficult moment and then repairing it proves the bond is robust. It shows partners they can weather storms and their commitment is stronger than any disagreement. It builds trust.
Okay, I'm starting to see it. So, what does a successful repair conversation look like? What are the key ingredients?
There are a few essential components. First, and perhaps most importantly, is taking responsibility. This means acknowledging your part in the breakdown without blaming or making excuses.
So, instead of saying, I'm sorry if you were hurt, it's more like, I am sorry that my words were hurtful.
Exactly. The goal here is ownership of your actions and their consequences. This leads into the second key ingredient, genuine remorse. This is more than just words. It's about conveying that you truly regret causing your partner pain.
How can someone convey remorse effectively?
It's a combination. Your tone of voice, your body language, facing your partner, making eye contact, all contribute. But so do specific phrases that show you've thought about their feelings. It's about validating their emotional experience.
So, acknowledging their feelings is crucial.
Absolutely. Validation is huge. When your partner expresses their hurt, truly listen to understand their perspective. Even if you don't fully agree, acknowledge that their feelings are real and valid for them.
That's a really important distinction, isn't it? Their feelings are real to them.
Yes, and this leads to the third component, seeking forgiveness. This isn't demanding forgiveness, but rather humbly asking for it, signifying your desire to move past the incident and rebuild trust.
And what if the person who is hurt isn't ready to forgive immediately?
That's perfectly normal. Forgiveness is a process, not an on-demand transaction. A sincere request opens the door, but the other person needs time and space to heal.
So, to recap the core elements of initiating repair, taking responsibility, expressing remorse, and then seeking forgiveness.
And we can add a crucial fourth element, a genuine commitment to change. This means not just apologizing for the past, but demonstrating through your future actions that you are committed to avoiding repeating the mistake.
So it's not just about saying sorry, but about showing you're going to do better. That's powerful.
It truly is. This commitment to change can involve specific actions, like agreeing to communicate differently or setting new boundaries.
So imagine this scenario. A couple has a heated argument. One partner storms off. Later, that partner comes back to initiate a repair. What might that look like?
Let's say Alex said something harsh to Lisa. Alex might come to Lisa later and say, Lisa, I need to talk about what happened earlier. I was so angry, and I said some things that were truly out of line. I deeply regret snapping at you and making you feel unvalued. That was absolutely not okay, and I'm so sorry. I know I hurt you, and I want to understand better how I can manage my frustration without lashing out.
And then, when Alex is done speaking, Lisa's role is to listen, to share her feelings without accusation. She might say something like, Alex, I appreciate you coming to me. When you raised your voice and said X, Y, Z, I felt incredibly hurt and dismissed. It made me feel like my perspective didn't matter at all.
And then Alex would listen to Lisa's experience, perhaps acknowledging, thank you for telling me that. Hearing how that landed with you makes me even more regretful. I'm truly sorry for making you feel dismissed. I want you to know that your perspective always matters to me. Can we talk about how I can better show you that in the future?
See? That feels like a genuine exchange. It's vulnerable, it's honest, and it's aimed at healing. It's not about winning the argument. It's about winning back connection.
Exactly. And in that exchange, both partners are actively participating in the repair. Alex is taking responsibility and showing remorse, and Lisa is sharing her experience and validating their shared desire to reconnect.
This is so important. Many relationships falter not because of the arguments themselves, but because of the failure to repair afterwards. The unresolved hurts fester and build a wall.
They do. Repair conversations are those patches. They're the proactive, loving work that keeps the relationship afloat and thriving. Practicing these skills can transform a struggling relationship into a deeply connected and resilient one.
So, to wrap up this part, repair conversations are essential for long-term relationship health. They involve taking responsibility, expressing genuine remorse, seeking forgiveness, and demonstrating a commitment to change. And doing this well can actually strengthen the bond between partners.
You've got it. It's a sign of a mature and deeply loving connection when couples can navigate disagreements and confidently repair the damage. It's an investment in your shared future. Next episode, Mastering Difficult Conversations with Grace. Welcome back to Communication for Couples. Last time, we explored the crucial skill of bridging the gap after disagreement with repair conversations. Today, we're building on that foundation to tackle mastering difficult conversations with grace.
Difficult conversations. Just hearing those words can bring up a little knot of anxiety, can it? We often tend to avoid them, hoping the issue will resolve itself. But avoidance rarely leads to deeper connection.
Exactly. And the good news is, with the right approach, even the most sensitive topics can be discussed constructively, leading to greater understanding and a stronger relationship. Often, it's the fear of the outcome that makes a conversation difficult. We might worry about hurting our partner, or being hurt ourselves, fearing judgment, or even a permanent rift.
So, it's less about the topic itself and more about our internal reactions and assumptions. I remember feeling stressed before talking to my partner about household chores. I was convinced he'd see it as nagging, and I'd feel like a broken record.
That's a perfect example, Lisa. The key to mastering these conversations is often in the preparation, both internal and external. Before you even open your mouth, take some time for self-reflection. What are your underlying feelings about this issue? Are you feeling frustrated, unappreciated, worried? Try to identify the specific emotion. Remember our discussions on nonviolent dialogue? This is where understanding those core needs and feelings really shines.
So, rather than just thinking he never helps with the dishes, I should dig deeper. Is it about fairness? About feeling supported? About a need for partnership in managing our shared life?
Precisely. And once you've identified your feelings and underlying needs, you can think about what you hope to achieve from the conversation. Is it a specific change in behavior, a shared understanding, or simply a chance to be heard? Having a clear intention, even if it's just to express yourself vulnerably, is incredibly powerful.
Okay, so internal preparation is step one. What about external preparation? How do we set the stage for a constructive talk?
The timing and setting are crucial. You wouldn't try to have a heart-to-heart when one of you is exhausted, rushed, or in the middle of a stressful task. Find a time when you both have energy and can give each other your full attention. A quiet, neutral space is usually best, free from distractions like phones or the television.
So, no bringing up a sensitive topic right when the other person is walking in the door after a long day at work or while trying to watch your favorite show.
Definitely not. And when you initiate the conversation, it's important to do so gently. Instead of launching into accusations or demands, you could say something like, "Hey, I've been thinking about something, and I'd love to talk with you about it when you have a moment. It's important to me, and I want to make sure we're on the same page." This invites collaboration rather than defensiveness.
That sounds much less confrontational. It gives the other person a heads up and allows them to prepare mentally, too. It's like asking for permission to share something important.
Exactly. And when you're actually in the conversation, remember the active listening skills we discussed. Your goal isn't to win an argument, but to understand and be understood. Listen with empathy. Try to see the situation from your partner's perspective, even if you don't agree with it. Reflect back what you hear to ensure you're grasping their point of view.
This is where the principle of structuring your communication comes in handy. If I'm trying to express a difficult feeling, I can start by stating my intention. I want to talk about how I've been feeling about our finances. My goal is for us to feel more secure together.
Perfect. And then you share your feelings and observations using I statements. For example, instead of saying, you always spend too much money, you might say, I feel worried when I see our balance after a big purchase because my need for financial security isn't being met.
Oh, that's a great distinction. It focuses on my internal experience and my needs, rather than casting blame. And when they respond, I need to actively listen, right? No interrupting, no forming my rebuttal while they're speaking.
Absolutely. Give them space to express themselves fully. And this is where the concept of vulnerability becomes paramount. Sharing your genuine feelings and concerns, even if they feel uncomfortable, builds trust. It signals that you are invested in the relationship and willing to do the hard work.
Vulnerability can be scary, though. What if sharing my feelings makes me feel exposed and my partner reacts poorly?
That's a valid concern. And it's a reminder that relationships are a dance, and sometimes both partners need to be practicing these skills. If your partner does become defensive or dismissive, it's an opportunity to use our repair skills. You could say something like, I notice your tone has become sharp, and I'm feeling a bit shut down. Can we take a breath and try to rephrase that in a way that feels more collaborative?
So, even if the conversation goes off track, those tools we learned in episode 8 become our safety net. It's about not letting a momentary misstep derail the entire discussion.
Exactly. And remember that difficult conversations aren't always about finding a perfect, immediate solution. Sometimes the goal is simply to open the door to ongoing dialogue. It's about acknowledging that an issue exists and committing to exploring it together over time. Not every tough topic needs to be resolved in one sitting.
That's a relief to hear. It feels less daunting when you realize it's a process, not a single, high stakes event. So, to recap, mastering difficult conversations involves internal preparation by identifying your feelings and needs, external preparation by choosing the right time and place, initiating gently, practicing active listening, expressing yourself vulnerably with I statements, and using repair skills if the conversation veers off course.
You got it, Lisa. It's about approaching these conversations with grace, respect, and a shared commitment to strengthening your connection. These aren't just conversations. They are opportunities to deepen intimacy and trust. By facing challenges together with these tools, you build resilience as a couple.
It really empowers you to face whatever comes your way. So, we've covered a lot of ground in this episode, from preparation to active listening and vulnerability. It all ties back to creating a safe space for both partners to express themselves and feel heard.
It truly does. And in our next episode, we'll explore another vital practice that solidifies this ongoing effort: the importance of weekly check ins. Remember how we started this series by talking about the foundation of connection? Weekly check ins are a powerful way to proactively maintain and build that foundation.
Looking forward to it, Alex.
Me too. Until then. Welcome back. Last time we covered mastering difficult conversations with grace. Now let's tackle the importance of weekly check-ins.
You're absolutely right, Alex. It's easy to feel like we're connected because we live together, we talk every day, but a dedicated weekly check-in is a game changer for keeping a relationship strong and vibrant. It's like scheduled maintenance for your partnership.
Exactly. Think about it. We spend hours preparing for important meetings at work, planning holidays meticulously, even deciding what to watch on a Friday night. Yet, often the most important relationship in our lives, our partnership, runs on autopilot. A weekly check-in is a conscious decision to prioritize that connection.
So, Alex, what exactly does a productive weekly check-in look like? It's not just sitting down and saying, how was your week? right?
Absolutely not. A productive check-in is structured, intentional, and creates a safe space for both partners. The first key element is dedicating a specific time. This isn't a quick chat before bed when you're both exhausted. It's a prearranged slot, maybe 30 to 60 minutes, free from distractions. Put on the calendar. Treat it as a non-negotiable appointment.
That makes sense. If it's a scheduled event, it's less likely to be postponed or forgotten when life gets busy. So, time is the first ingredient. What's next?
Next, we talk about sharing our week, the highs and the lows. This isn't about recounting every single minute, but about sharing what was significant. What brought you joy? What was challenging? What's been on your mind? This allows your partner to really understand your world, your experiences, and your emotional landscape.
So, it's about building empathy and understanding. Instead of just operating in our own bubbles, we're inviting our partner into our experiences. This helps prevent those moments where one person feels completely out of the loop about what the other has been going through.
Precisely. And building on that, the third crucial part is checking in on our emotional state. This goes deeper than just fine. How are you really feeling? Are you feeling loved, appreciated, stressed, anxious, content? Encourage open and honest answers. Sometimes just naming an emotion can be incredibly freeing.
This is where we can really use those active listening skills we discussed earlier in the series, right? Not just hearing the words, but understanding the feeling behind them.
You got it, Lisa. And this leads us to the fourth and perhaps most preventative aspect, addressing emerging issues. This is your early warning system. Are there small annoyances that are starting to build? A recurring pattern that feels a little off? This dedicated time allows you to bring these things up in a low-stakes environment before they fester and become major resentments.
This is so important. So many big conflicts start as small, unaddressed issues. It's like ignoring a small crack in a dam. Eventually, it leads to a much bigger problem. Weekly check-ins are about fixing those small cracks before they become breaches.
That's a perfect analogy, Lisa. And it's not about bringing a list of complaints. It's about gently pointing out things that are impacting your well-being or the harmony of the relationship. It's about fostering a sense of teamwork in navigating the everyday.
So, to recap for our listeners, a productive weekly check-in involves dedicating a specific time, sharing significant parts of your week, checking in on your emotional state, and addressing any emerging issues. That sounds like a powerful recipe for a healthy partnership.
It truly is. Remember when we talked about the importance of appreciation languages and emotional bids? These check-ins are a consistent, structured way to practice both. You're actively showing your partner you care by dedicating time to them, and you're creating opportunities for them to express their needs and for you to respond. It's a tangible demonstration of commitment.
And I imagine by doing this regularly, it becomes easier over time. The initial awkwardness, if there is any, fades away, and it becomes a natural, comforting rhythm in your relationship.
That's the goal. It shifts from feeling like a chore to feeling like a vital source of connection and reassurance. It's about continuous effort. A thriving partnership isn't built on grand gestures alone. It's built on the small, consistent efforts we make day in and day out, and the weekly check-in is a cornerstone of that consistent effort. It prevents that feeling of drifting apart, of being roommates instead of partners.
It also cultivates a deeper sense of safety and trust. When you know you have a dedicated time to be heard and understood, you're more likely to be vulnerable and honest throughout the rest of the week.
Absolutely. And let's remember, this isn't about perfection. Some check-ins will be easier than others. Some weeks you might have a lot to discuss, and other weeks it might be more about quiet connection and reaffirmation. The key is the regularity and the intention.
So, if you're listening and you don't have this practice in place, I really encourage you to start. Talk to your partner about it. Suggest setting aside that time. It might feel a little artificial at first, but the long-term benefits are incredible. It's an investment in the health and happiness of your relationship.
Think of it as regular tune-ups for your car. You don't wait for the engine to seize up before you take it in, right? You do the preventative maintenance to keep it running smoothly. Your relationship deserves that same level of care and attention. The weekly check-in is your relationship's preventative maintenance.
Well said, Alex. It's a proactive approach to ensuring your connection stays strong and resilient, preventing small issues from growing and fostering a deeper understanding and intimacy over time.
Next episode, navigating change and growth together. Welcome back to Communication for Couples, where we're diving deep into building stronger connections.
And I'm Lisa. Last time, we covered the crucial practice of weekly check-ins.
Absolutely. And those check-ins become even more vital when life throws us curveballs or when we, as individuals, start to grow and change. Today, we're tackling a really important topic, navigating change and growth together.
This feels so relevant. Relationships aren't static, they're dynamic. People change, circumstances change, and a couple's ability to navigate that together is really the hallmark of a resilient partnership.
Exactly. Think of it like a garden. If you plant a few seeds, they grow. They might grow taller, spread out, or even need different kinds of care as they mature. A good gardener doesn't expect the plant to stay the same forever. They adapt, and couples need to be those good gardeners for their relationship.
That's a great analogy, Alex. So, change can be both external, like a new job or moving, and internal, like a shift in personal goals or perspectives. How do we, as a couple, communicate effectively through these transitions?
The foundation remains the same, open and honest communication, delivered with care. When one partner is experiencing significant change or personal growth, it's essential for the other to create a safe space for them to share. This means listening without judgment.
So, if one of us is going through a big career shift, for example, the instinct might be to immediately offer solutions or express worries. But you're suggesting we start by just listening and acknowledging their feelings?
Precisely. Imagine your partner telling you they're feeling restless in their current job and want to explore a completely new field. Instead of immediately saying, "But how will we pay the bills?" or "Are you sure about this?" Try validating their feelings first. Something like, "It sounds like you're feeling really unfulfilled right now, and you're craving something more." That must be tough.
So it's about acknowledging the emotion, the what is, before jumping to the what if. That makes sense. It makes the person talking feel heard and understood, which is so crucial when you're feeling vulnerable about change.
It really is. And this applies to internal growth too. Maybe one partner is developing a new spiritual belief or a stronger commitment to their physical health, or even just a different sense of humor. The other needs to be curious and supportive, not dismissive or resistant. Remember our episodes on empathy? This is where that skill is tested and strengthened.
Right. It's easy to assume we know our partner completely, but people evolve. Their interests, their priorities, even their core values can deepen or shift over time. And if we're not communicating about these shifts, we can end up feeling like strangers living in the same house.
That's a stark but accurate picture. So, step one is creating that safe space for sharing and really listening. Step two is adapting our communication styles. As individuals and as a couple, we might need to adjust how we talk and listen.
What do you mean by adapting communication styles?
Well, perhaps one partner usually enjoys lighthearted banter, but during a period of intense personal change, they might need more serious, focused conversations. The other partner needs to recognize this shift and meet them where they are. It's about flexibility. It's like speaking different dialects of the same language. You might need to adjust your vocabulary and tone to be understood.
So, if my partner is suddenly very quiet and introspective, my usual attempts at cheering them up with jokes might fall flat. I might need to instead offer gentle invitations for conversation, like, "I've noticed you've been thinking a lot lately." I'm here if you want to share what's on your mind, no pressure.
Exactly. And this also means being willing to step outside your comfort zone. If your partner's growth involves something you don't fully understand, instead of avoiding it, try to learn about it with them. Show genuine interest. This fosters a sense of shared journey.
I think that's a key phrase, shared journey, because change can feel isolating. If one person is growing and the other feels left behind, it can create distance. But if we approach it as a journey we're taking together, even if we're walking slightly different paths for a while, it feels like we're still hand in hand.
That's beautifully put, Lisa. And fostering this mutual support creates a strong foundation for navigating the inevitable challenges that come with growth. Sometimes this growth might lead to different visions for the future.
Oh, this is where it gets tough. What if one partner's growth leads them to want to move across the country for a dream job, but the other partner is deeply rooted where they are?
This is where those communication muscles we've been building become absolutely essential. It requires honest conversations about expectations, fears, and desires. It's about finding common ground, exploring compromises, and making decisions that respect both individuals while also considering the health of the partnership. We touched on difficult conversations in episode 9, and this is a prime example of when those skills are critical.
So, even if the ultimate decision is difficult, the process of getting there through open dialogue, empathy, and a willingness to understand each other's perspectives is what strengthens the relationship. It's not about always agreeing, but about always engaging respectfully.
Precisely. And sometimes growth means letting go. This could be letting go of old habits, old resentments, or even old versions of ourselves or the relationship. Our next episode will actually delve into forgiveness and letting go, which is a powerful part of navigating change.
I'm looking forward to that. So, to recap what we've covered today on navigating change and growth together. First, create a safe space for sharing and practice deep, non judgmental listening. Second, be willing to adapt your communication styles to meet your partner's needs during transitions. And third, approach changes as a shared journey, fostering curiosity and mutual support, and engaging respectfully even when facing difficult decisions.
That's a perfect summary. Lisa, remember, the goal isn't to prevent change because that's impossible. The goal is to navigate it together, transforming challenges into opportunities for deeper connection and a stronger, more evolved partnership.
And that's a powerful legacy to build for your relationship.
Indeed, next episode, we'll be exploring the art of forgiveness and the importance of letting go.
You won't want to miss it. Join us then.
Welcome back to Communication for Couples. Today, let's talk about forgiveness and letting go.
We've covered many communication skills, Alex. But what about the hurts that linger? That's where forgiveness becomes essential for a relationship's health.
Absolutely, Lisa. Holding on to past hurts is like carrying a heavy weight. It exhausts us and hinders our progress in the relationship, impacting the present moment.
It sounds like resentment can create a real barrier, even when things are good now.
It does. And it's crucial to understand that forgiveness doesn't mean condoning bad behavior. It's not about saying hurtful actions were okay or that they didn't cause pain.
That's a relief to hear. I think many people worry forgiveness means overlooking serious issues.
True forgiveness is about releasing your grip on the hurt. It's an internal choice to stop past offenses from controlling your present feelings and future actions. It's about choosing peace for yourself.
So, it's a personal gift?
It is, and a gift to the relationship. When we let go of grudges, we can be more present and loving. This connects to our repair conversations. Forgiveness is often the final step to truly move forward.
That makes sense. How do we actually practice this process of forgiving and letting go?
It begins with acknowledging the hurt. You must recognize and validate the pain before you can forgive it. This often requires open communication.
So, even if we've talked about something before, we might need to revisit it to express lingering pain, not to blame?
Exactly. It's like acknowledging a scar. Once the hurt is expressed and heard, perhaps using I feel statements, the internal work begins.
The conscious decision to forgive?
Yes, it could be a deliberate choice. It involves consciously choosing not to dwell on the hurtful event, not to bring it up in new arguments, and not to let it taint your view of your partner. It's about redirecting your thoughts to the positive aspects of the relationship.
That sounds difficult when negative thoughts are persistent.
It can be. Building resilience and self-compassion helps. If you find yourself slipping into resentment, gently acknowledge it and then shift your focus. Consider the growth that has occurred since the incident. How has the relationship evolved? Focusing on progress can aid in letting go.
So, it's about reframing and actively seeking the good and the growth.
Correct. Empathy for the person who hurt you can also play a role. Understanding their circumstances or their own struggles, without excusing their actions, can soften anger.
That's a key distinction, understanding versus excusing. It gives a fuller perspective, helping to release emotional charge.
Precisely. And this ties into appreciation languages and recognizing emotional bids. When we're attuned to our partner's efforts and practice kindness, it builds goodwill, making forgiveness easier. It's like having a healthy reserve of positive interactions.
So, a strong foundation makes forgiveness more accessible. It's both a repair tool and a preventative measure.
Absolutely. Letting go is the active release. It's the conscious decision to move on, to unburden yourself. You acknowledge the weight, understand why it was there, and then intentionally set it down.
This creates space for new positive experiences, deeper connection, and continued growth as a couple. It prevents us from getting stuck in old patterns.
It does. And this skill strengthens with practice. The more we acknowledge hurt, express it constructively, and choose to forgive, the more natural it becomes. It allows the relationship to flow and adapt.
So, to summarize, forgiveness is about releasing your grip on past hurts, not condoning the behavior. It starts with acknowledging the hurt, then involves consciously choosing to forgive, reframing thoughts, and seeking understanding. Letting go is the active release, creating space for the present and future.
That's a perfect summary, Lisa. Forgiveness and letting go are vital for a relationship's resilience and depth, allowing us to be present and deepen our love.
It truly is. Thank you, Alex.
Thank you for joining us. Next episode, Building Your Communication Legacy. Welcome back to Communication for Couples. Talk better, love deeper. This is episode 13, our final one.
It's hard to believe we've reached the end of this journey together, Alex. We've covered so much ground, from the very foundation of connection all the way to forgiveness and letting go.
We have Lisa. In this concluding episode, we'll bring it all together. We'll reflect on the power of consistent effort and how to build a lasting legacy of deep connection and love through communication. Think of it as planting seeds today for a garden that will bloom for years to come.
That's a beautiful analogy, Alex. Throughout this series, we've learned about so many essential tools. We started with the foundation of connection, understanding that communication isn't just talking, but creating a safe space for vulnerability and mutual respect.
Precisely. And right after that, we dove into active listening. Remember how we emphasized truly hearing, not just waiting to speak? It's about making your partner feel genuinely understood, putting aside your own thoughts to absorb theirs. That skill benefits every single conversation.
Absolutely. And then we explored the powerful framework of nonviolent dialogue, or NVC. We learned to express our own needs and feelings honestly, without blame, and to hear the underlying needs of our partners.
That's the core of speaking your truth with empathy and responding with compassion. It shifts conversations from potential arguments into opportunities for deeper understanding. It's about expressing yourself clearly and hearing the other person's heart.
Following NVC, we tackled navigating conflict. We learned that conflict itself isn't the enemy, but how we handle it. We focused on moving away from contempt and defensiveness towards constructive problem solving.
And speaking of understanding, who could forget our dive into appreciation languages? Just like there are different love languages, recognizing how your partner feels most appreciated, whether through words, acts of service, gifts, quality time, or physical touch, can revolutionize how you show affection.
That one really resonated with me, and it connects so well with recognizing and responding to emotional bids. Those small moments, those invitations for connection, are the threads that weave the fabric of our relationships. Learning to see and respond to them builds intimacy.
They are the everyday building blocks of a strong relationship. And when things do get tough, we gained practical strategies to mend ruptures through repair conversations. It's about acknowledging hurt, apologizing sincerely, and rebuilding trust.
Repair conversations are like essential maintenance for a relationship. And then, for those really challenging moments, we were guided through mastering difficult conversations with grace. The emphasis there was on preparation, calm communication, and finding common ground, even when it feels impossible.
Those conversations are where true strength is forged. Then, we moved into the proactive side of things, emphasizing the importance of weekly check-ins. These aren't just for problem solving, but for proactive connection, for checking the pulse of the relationship.
Checking in regularly ensures that small issues don't become big ones, and that you both feel seen and heard throughout the week. And we also discussed navigating change and growth together. Relationships are dynamic, and learning to adapt and grow as individuals and as a couple is vital.
Life is always changing, and our ability to move through those changes together, supporting each other's evolution, is a testament to our bond. Then, we explored the profound power of forgiveness and letting go. This isn't about forgetting, but about releasing the emotional burden of past hurts to move forward unhindered.
Forgiveness is truly a gift you give yourself and your partner. So, Alex, as we wrap up this series, what's the overarching message you want our listeners to take away about building their communication legacy?
The biggest message is that communication isn't a destination. It's a continuous, conscious practice. The skills we've discussed, active listening, empathy, conflict resolution, understanding appreciation, responding to bids, repairing, checking in, and forgiving, these aren't one-and-done fixes. They are ongoing commitments.
So, it's about consistent effort, then? Not grand gestures, but the daily, weekly, monthly dedication to these principles.
Exactly. Think about it. First, always strive to have a foundation of connection. Second, continually practice active listening. Make your partner feel heard. Third, embrace nonviolent dialogue to speak your truth and hear theirs with empathy. Fourth, navigate conflict constructively, avoiding contempt. Fifth, learn and honor your partner's appreciation languages to show love meaningfully. Sixth, recognize and respond to emotional bids to strengthen intimacy daily. Seventh, be ready for and skilled in repair conversations. Eighth, learn to master difficult conversations with grace. Ninth, commit to weekly check-ins for ongoing connection. 10th, navigate change and growth together, supporting each other's evolution. And finally, practice forgiveness and letting go to maintain emotional freedom.
That's a powerful summary, Alex. It really highlights how each skill builds upon the last, creating a robust framework for a thriving relationship. The legacy isn't just about having a good marriage, it's about actively co-creating a deeply connected, loving experience that lasts a lifetime.
Precisely. It's about living the principle of talking better, loving deeper, not as a slogan, but as a daily practice. It's about choosing understanding over judgment, empathy over anger, and connection over distance, time and time again. Your communication legacy is built in those everyday moments, in the choices you make to connect, to understand, and to love more fully.
It's inspiring to think of the ripple effect this can have, not just on our own lives, but also on our families and the communities we're part of. A legacy of strong, empathetic communication is a gift that keeps on giving.
It truly is. So, as we close this series, our encouragement to you is to keep practicing. Revisit episodes that particularly spoke to you. Talk about these concepts with your partner. Make these skills a natural part of your relationship's DNA.
Thank you, Alex, for guiding us through this incredible series. It's been a privilege to explore these vital aspects of communication for couples.
The privilege has been mine, Lisa, and to all our listeners. Thank you for joining us on this journey of communication for couples. Talk better, love deeper. We hope the tools and insights you've gained will serve you in building a lasting legacy of deep connection and love.
Thanks for listening to this series.